I watch cat videos, I can't get enough. Cats that bark, cats that talk, cats that run into stuff. On YouTube, Vimeo, and in the background on Twitch, famous cats that make their owners rich. So I watch my cat, ready to tape. Got my phone set up to film in landscape. But my cat's just a cat, not even good at that. My regular okay cat. Some people got a cat with a screwed up face, lil bub tongue all over the place.
Welcome once again to Yeah with Lisa, Phil, and our co-host Erin from California. This week we're talking to Jane Sharpe. Are we correcting your last name?
That's right.
Okay. And she wrote Winston the Cat with a Mech Suit. It is available on Kindle, on Audible, or no, not Audible, I'm sorry. Because it's got great illustrations on Kindle, so that's where I would find it if I were you.
Right. Yeah. Definitely one you want to read rather than listen to.
Right. Right. You definitely want to look at it because it's got really fun illustrations. What made you write this book?
Well, we had always been a dog family, and my husband was allergic to cats, and we didn't really know what we were missing because I had never had a cat, and my kids had never had a cat, and my husband had sinus reconstruction surgery and suddenly wasn't allergic to cats anymore. And so my daughter got a kitten, and then my son got a kitten, and then I adopted a pregnant cat, and we very quickly became like a cat household. And after all our cats grew up, do you guys have a cat?
Yes, we have two.
Okay. So
I've always had cats.
Okay.
Philip is actually, like you said, he's allergic. And so we have Siamese because he does not react to the Siamese.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that before.
Certain breeds, if you look it up online, certain breeds are low allergy for various reasons.
But even so, she's going to be calling tomorrow to schedule my surgery, just like your husband had.
That's correct.
So you can open up the different breeds that can expand your pet menagerie. Yeah. We didn't know.
We're both, though. We're cat and dog.
Yeah.
We just don't have a dog right now.
Right. Yeah. I had never grown up with pets in the house, and so we got a dog and we got married, and that was what I was used to, and then we never had it. So anyway, we got the cats, and after our kittens grew up, we started really living the cat lifestyle, like where they, walk around and they have all their quirks and behaviors. But one thing, so I have 5 kids, and so you're always calling your kids. You're like, come do the dishes, go, get your laundry out of the dryer, whatever, all these instructions, and it suddenly I realized that you could totally have a ticket for freedom if a cat was sleeping on you. So if I was like, come empty the dishwasher, you're a prisoner. And I was like, they're like, oh, I can't come, I have a cat on me. And then if the cat is sleeping, you do not disturb the cat. Like if mom says, put away these towels and there's a cat sleeping on the towel, like you can't put the towels away until the cat decides to get up and move. And I just thought this was hilarious because it was new to me. And so I started thinking like how the cat gets in the way, but it's like you can do what you want. And then I started thinking like, what if the cat could pay us back? And then that's how we have a ginger cat, and that's how Winston was born, is from my imagination after getting into the cat lifestyle.
That's interesting. So you could call into work. Like I can't get into work right now. I got a 20-pound cat. It's like
absolutely.
My chest.
Yeah, one of our cats weighs 20 pounds.
Wow. Yeah, I think our heaviest is like 14.
Yeah. The vet says he's not overweight. He's just a big cat. He's a snowshoe. So
okay. Yeah, I think our cat has a second family because this cat, he like clocks out in the morning and he clocks back in at night. And he seemed to have lost weight. It's my son's cat. I said, does Ezrin look like skinnier to you? And he goes, and just totally off the cuff, without missing a beat, my 11-year-old goes, yeah, I think his other family moved away, and so he's only eating here now.
Either that or his other family put him on a diet.
He's moonlighting.
Yeah, they're like, you're too roly-poly, bud. Yeah.
But I guess
So
I never thought a lot about how much we kind of give up of, defer to the cats, so to
Oh, for
speak.
sure.
But
Yeah.
I kind of find out when we moved in, because when we moved in here, we started talking about we want to have upscapes for the cat. And then we started talking about the colors of the walls. We've only been here for about a month and a half. Well, let's find something that the cat might find
I did not
enjoyable.
suggest
Or-
the cat
or,
has to say in the color of the
let's make sure that we get something that the cat can scratch instead of the furniture. What was
Oh, yeah.
and so
Yeah.
those peel and stick carpet things that
Right.
they can climb, and you put it on the furniture so they don't scratch. You put the
Yeah.
clear ones on the furniture.
yeah.
So it's kind
I
of
got
like just
those.
a very small section of your furniture. Is like the 1960s housewife couch cover,
Yeah.
you know?
But
Yes,
it's
those things
fascinating.
really work. I bought a pair of blue velvet armchairs, and I was like, you guys are not gonna ruin these chairs, because we have
Mhm.
5 cats. And
Yeah.
I bought that tape, and it's clear 2-sided tape, and I put it on the back of the chair, and they would try to stretch on it, and they hated that sticky feeling. And then I had a party, I took the tape off because you can sort of see it a little bit, even though it's clear.
Right.
And they never went back and bothered it. And so I don't know if I did it from when it was a new chair, or if they just learned, like, don't touch that chair, it's sticky.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think they do learn.
Yeah.
I know, what is it? My understanding is if it's real velvet, they actually don't like to scratch velvet.
Really?
Because we have a velvet, our couch is velvet. And our new couch, our new reclining couch is velvet.
Yeah.
And they don't touch it. They don't scratch it.
Yeah.
These
They
feel
seem-
fabulous, but they don't have that, like, crushable quality that, like, Luxe Velvet does. But I tell you, I've always wanted a green velvet couch, and I have never got one yet because I'm worried about the cats just destroying it.
Yeah, if you look it up online, it says that they do not like to scratch velvet.
Huh.
I don't
Alright.
know why.
So
Yeah.
we expend a
It
lot of
doesn't get
research
clean.
into the cats as well. So I mean, the thing is,
They don't have much else to
what
do.
what I'm talking about is, like, we defer to these cats. We make accommodations for them, and
Yeah.
your book is all about, what if they could, reciprocate some of that care
Sure.
and everything. So
Yeah.
how did that, in what real life ways, what I'm really wanting to know is what real life ways do cats give back to their owners for all that we give to them?
I mean, one of the only, like, feedbacks that I have gotten that hasn't been, like, positive about the Winston book is somebody said that real cats would never help. Like, real cats would never chip in, And I feel like my cats are pretty sassy and they're not super, helpful, but I think the only tangible thing that a cat will give back to us is when they allow us to cuddle them when we want to. Like, I don't think they're actually helping in almost any way.
No,
Yeah.
they are not. They are not.
They're
They are
not.
not givers, cats.
Yeah.
No. And if they
Although-
are, it's just giving permission is all they give.
My first cat used to bring me snakes.
Ah,
Right.
were
do
they still
that.
moving snakes?
Some of them, yes.
Yeah.
Didn't one
Yeah.
have the snake, like the tail of the
Yeah,
snake?
this one time, my cat,
Uh,
he was my Sinbad. He was on the porch. He's the one that I had for 21 years.
Wow.
He wanted to come in the house, but he wasn't meowing. He was like, nah, nah. So I
His
could
mouth
tell there
was
was
full.
something going on. And I was like, what's going on here? And all of a sudden, like, part of the snake falls out of his mouth. And I'm like, yeah, that's a no. You're not coming in the house.
Yeah.
Time he was an outdoor
But
cat.
then he's like, notice you looking at him, and then he like swipes
Yeah,
paws
yeah,
to
he
shove
does
it back
this.
in his,
Like, shoves it back in his mouth.
so you might not see it.
Like he knows
Oh,
he's
they
hiding
sneak
it.
in. Yeah.
And I was like,
I've heard-
and he was smart. He actually could open doorknobs.
A lot of cats don't have
Wow.
personality, but that was
No. Sinbad was my soul cat.
Hmm.
The two cats we have now, they're indoor completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the female's never been outside.
Yeah.
We did have, at one point, we had a cat. Her name was Chala.
Mhm.
And Chala was one of the shelf cats, if you know what I mean.
No. Oh, that's rough. Yeah,
He was an asshole.
that's rough. Yeah.
Oh,
Winston does that on one of the pages in the book, but
Yeah.
thankfully, the only thing we've had trouble with that is my cat will get on my end table in the middle of the night and wake me up by knocking things on the floor.
Mm.
And he's like, as soon as I get up and I go open the door, he's fine. He doesn't just do it for fun, but that's how he wakes me up.
yeah. So he didn't just do it
Mm-hmm.
and then watch you go over there and pick it up and put it back up, go sit back down, and then he'd knock it off again.
No, he doesn't think that's fun. He's really grumpy. If I don't go open the bedroom door so he can get out, he's like, "What are you like?" He's very he's Winston's facial expressions are based on this cat, and he's very grumpy and condescending all the time. And if he tips it over, that means go open the door. If I just put it back, he's like, "We're not communicating here. Your job is go open the door now." So
Now,
he's very
let me ask,
condescending.
and this is just a really important question. Does your orange cat have part of the shared brain cell that all orange cats share?
You know, I watched a video about orange cat behavior, and I have two orange cats. I have two ginger cats, and one of them is the most chill, peaceful, amenable, friendly. Like if he falls asleep on your lap and you put him down on a cushion, he'll just stay, he'll continue, he'll rearrange himself and sleep on the cushion. He's fabulous. Nothing like a ginger cat. The other one is like cantankerous and like bossy and condescending, but he doesn't have any of the antics. So I got like two weird ginger cats. I do not have any ginger cat behavior in these cats. These two.
Interesting. I didn't know that
Yeah.
about ginger cats. I didn't know they were notorious for,
Sharing one brain cell?
yeah.
Yeah, they're deficient in thought processes and tend to be a little sort of crazy and getting themselves into trouble.
A-holes
Which
is the
neither of
word
these two.
there.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron's got cat. You got at least one, right, Aaron?
No, he's got like 4.
3.
Well, you had 4 when we visited.
No, we had
No?
2 Siamese and a Siberian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
And,
did they have any say on the home that you bought?
What's that?
Did they have
Any-
any say on the home that you wound up eventually getting, or
I think they're happier there than they were at the old place.
they probably are?
Yeah, when we first moved to this house, right after Thanksgiving, Nettle, our youngest, was not happy.
No.
Meow, meow, meow. Only at night, though. It was like,
Oh, for goodness sakes. Yeah.
fortunately, it only lasted about 3 days. And what they suggested, which helped, was to lock her in a room by her, just lock her in the smallest room in the house, which we were able to do, and that worked out.
Yeah.
We
That's
just threw
good.
the food, the cat litter, and both cats in this room and got some sleep.
All right.
So I want to talk a little bit about the book, about the artwork.
Yeah, let's actually talk about the book.
Yeah. The artwork, I found it, I think sometimes the trap that people fall into today with children's books and just, art in general is leaning on CGI,
A little too
AI,
simple.
and I found when I was a kid, the books that fascinated me the most were like Winnie the Pooh, the illustrations in Winnie the Pooh, or The Hobbit, Cat in the Hat. They were sort of interpretive, and they left a lot to the imagination.
Rabbit.
Yeah,
This one, yours reminds me of kind of the Peter Rabbit style
I love that.
of the one that I'm familiar with.
It was kind of a
Yeah.
callback to
Yeah.
that artwork that I remembered in some of the children's books that
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who was your artist?
Her name is Nita. She lives in Ukraine, and I just fell in love with her art style. I mean, I have to just say it outright. Like, I'm sort of a book snob. Like, I have over 4,000 books, and probably at least a quarter of those are children's illustrated books.
Wow.
And I just cannot bear the kind of art that kids are being offered right now
It's
with
not art.
just bubble heads. The eyes are really big. There's no background. They're just like on an empty field of color. There's no plot. There's no problems. Like, I mean, I guess, the Paw Patrol has to save the day, and so there's like a problem of some sort, but there's no like depth to him. And so when I was searching for an artist, I just had to sift through, I mean, hundreds probably of these I could never do it. So like they definitely have like a digital skill of creating the art, and they're making art and people are liking it. But I had to look for somebody with Nita's kind of like skill, because I was not interested in making a bobblehead art book. There's an artist I really like. Her name is Marla Frazee, and her art is extremely detailed. So you'll look in her pages and there's stuff hiding everywhere. Not like it's trying to be hiding, but it's just little details you don't notice on the first read through maybe. And so I really liked her color saturation. I really liked the details that she was willing to put in on the pages and stuff. So when I saw hers, I was like, that's who I'm going with.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I like art that kind of stokes the imagination rather than provide the imagery, everything you would like, the smorgasbord of whatever you would possibly imagine, and I feel like that this type of art evokes your imagination to where you still wonder what Winston may have, looked like, right in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really like the little details she put in, because there's actual objects in the rooms. They're not just an empty space with a floor and a wall, And so I really liked, I feel like you really get a handle on this family is interesting with all the little details in the pictures.
So we talked about Winston is extraordinarily motivated to help his family. So we kind of talked about that point right there, but
you were saying that the father built the mech suit for him?
Yeah. I thought that was interesting.
And I originally didn't say right out in the language that he built it. I thought it was going to just sort of be inferred a little bit, but the people I had read it very early were just like, where did it come from? And I was like, well, you don't need to know where it comes from. It's just there,
Right.
you just have to accept the universe a little bit. But I did get enough. Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like a kid will just open a book and they're like, oh, this is set with unicorns and mountains and knights, or they'll open a book and it's whatever. So I think that on one level, you just create a universe and that's where the book is. But I did get enough feedback that I just wanted to say, I think on the first page, I was like, the dad built it. Because if you'll see in the art, I always had the mech suit not necessarily visible to the person that was in the room. So he was always sort of in the background. And so I had this idea like, he blocks what they need to do, but then he comes back and fixes it while they're doing something they enjoy. And then that thing is just done. And so it wasn't like they were a team. It was like, he's like, thanks for that nap I had earlier. Thanks for not disturbing me. I'm just going to pick up the slack that I caused, by napping. But I really did I liked that the dad built it. I liked the last page where he was out in the garage and it was on screensaver mode for the evening. And so, yeah, there's no explanation and there's no reasoning. It's just the way it is.
Well, we talked about in our last show that we did was a science fiction author, and we talked about how even some of, the greatest science fiction authors didn't really lean into the science. We didn't. There wasn't a lot of detail about it, how the mech suit was built or, what really, we just know that the father cared about the family.
You have to know that it exists in
he collaborated.
Yeah.
I thought that was, that was cool. That was a cool.
Yeah. And the dad is the only one who talks to Winston about the suit. He's the only one that says anything about the suit where he's talking directly to the cat about the suit. The mom says Winston, you're a great cat, but she's not in that scene. He's just the pet cat. And so I think everybody knows about the suit, but the dad is the only one that talks to Winston about the suit.
Well, now Aaron is positioned to join the discussion a little better. I know you read the book, right, Aaron?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Been several weeks now, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your impressions?
It was a cute kids book.
Yeah.
Kind of I don't know, driving the animal towards slavery almost, but
Yes. There was a page I deleted because it was too much like you're the hired servant, go to work. And so
yeah,
I ended up deleting that page because I was like, this is not following the
that's
the
that's not how
friendly
cats.
payback. Yeah. So I deleted that page.
Not quite in the spirit of what you were trying to put across.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that the way I took it when like, you know, they were doing something they enjoyed, like she was reading or writing, whichever one that was, while the cat was doing the dishes.
Yeah.
I took that as the cat was doing something nice so the person could do what they enjoyed,
Yeah. I
as
think
opposed to, you know,
like yes,
right.
the page I cut was on the left side, the cat was walking back and forth in between the ankles, and the person said like, hold on, I'm cooking dinner. And then in the other page, it was the cat was doing the dishes. And I was like, the cat is not blocking them. And then the cat's not doing a related activity to the dinner. And I was like, this is just like he's a servant. Whereas in all the other ones, there was a very clear like cause and effect, kind of like, I blocked you here, so I'll make it up over here and everything. So
Yeah.
that one, I'm glad I deleted that page because it is, like the people like cats will not be helpful. I'm like, well, in this universe, the cat is a part of the team. But I definitely didn't want to create a vibe where it was like, I'm going to be a slacker so that the cat can work. So,
Right.
Yeah. You don't want to feed, I mean, like you said before, people that don't like cats tend to ascribe like evil motivations to them and like
sure.
they undermine you or what's that if well the kind of the dark thing is that if you were to pass away or pass out that after a while they would
Just
start
eat your
to
face.
I'm not going to make a comment on that.
I, I mean that's apocryphal, right? That's like
Yeah, that's definitely a dog
It's
people
a
versus cat people
yeah.
joke. I mean,
it
I don't know if
is
it's a joke.
it is sadly I yeah, you're
Yeah.
gonna want to edit this, hun.
Yeah, I shouldn't have brought that to the
It's
table
true.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think there's always going to be the cat people, dog people battle.
Yeah,
And then there's this whole group of people that like we used to be like we just didn't know anything about cats. Like we didn't know, we
Right.
wouldn't understand. We just like my dad, he comes, he's like, get the cat off your lap, like just throw it on the floor. And we're
right,
like,
right.
no.
That's
So
against the law.
yeah, so it's definitely for, I mean, I think every book I've written is definitely for like a niche market. It's definitely for people that like that thing.
Yeah. Um,
But the whole cat eating the people thing, if they pass away, if you're locked in a house and that's all you've got to eat, I don't blame
wait a
them.
minute, you're bringing it back now.
Yeah.
You're still editing.
Okay.
This is
I
off
tried to
the
put it
record.
down, but
Making it tricky.
yeah. But yeah,
Let's light it in.
it'll be like it never happened.
Yeah,
I think
But
that means he just believes in your editing skills.
yeah,
I do.
yeah. I'm meticulous. I guess I pretty much have to. I pretty much have to go with a fine tooth comb and pluck certain things out of there.
Judges some stuff I say a little harsher than necessary.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, in today's internet, it's best to be on the safe side, probably.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, there's certain things, you don't want to reveal like personal information. You don't want to,
Tax fraud.
yeah,
Yeah.
Tax
Sure.
fraud.
Yeah.
a lot of different things. But
We have never committed tax fraud.
oh geez, yeah,
That sounds ominous.
it
A
does.
little,
That's
not
my little
sketchy.
acting trick. I like to pretend.
That's
Uh-huh.
what he likes to make Phil edit.
Yeah, no, believe me, we've never committed tax fraud.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about tax fraud is that you don't even have to know that you're doing it. Like,
That's true.
what's the joke about the IRS is like, tell us how much you owe us. And we're like, don't you know? And they're like, no, you tell us how much you owe us. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if that's considered an error or if that's considered fraud, but either way, you get in trouble.
Right.
Well, so I don't know. Um, I read an article, I read an article about you, and you mentioned you have 5 kids. You do homeschooling, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
I was wondering, recently, Mark Zuckerberg was talking about job cuts, and uh, he like echoed other business leaders that work from home needed to be reeled back and to promote collaboration and healthy competition. And
He
so,
also yeah, re-embracing toxic masculinity.
right, yes, he did. Yes, he did. And it's like,
Did he actually say that?
More or less, yeah.
so
Wow.
what he was saying is that he was trying to suggest that socialization and collaboration that goes on when you come into the office is essential to success in work. So,
For
um,
adults.
yeah, results.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, and I know Aaron's kids are homeschooled also.
Yeah.
Um,
And Aaron and I both predominantly work from home.
yeah. So,
Well, you're gonna be. He just got a new job. Yay.
Yeah,
so
I had to go in to configure my computer. They FedExed it to me yesterday, but I wasn't able to log into it to set up the network and everything, so I had to drive in
Yeah.
hour plus each way.
Wow.
But I
Yikes.
mean, do you think it is essential? I mean, what kind of alternatives to the
No, it
school
was
environment are people finding,
I
working from
return to
home?
office is what I'm talking about. It's not essential. Um,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
there's no reason I had to be there today other than physically to
Aggravate you.
set up that machine. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's more distractions than anything. Not to mention I was there on fire drill day.
Hmm.
Oh, wow. So that stole some of your time that you were there for.
Well, no, I knew it was coming and I went to lunch early.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Um,
It may have been a little bit of a word salad, Jane. I don't know what I was getting at there exactly,
Oh
but
no, I think a lot of people, their first question about homeschooling is like the socialization and is it healthy to stay at home and are you only hanging out with your family? And if you have a family that's less healthy, then and that's all you're seeing, like are the kids in a safe position? And I think socialization is one of the huge questions. I think it ties in pretty well to like your initial like people going back to the office. I was just talking, I was at my nephew's birthday party and he's so little that all the guests were adults. And I was talking to a guest and she was having to go back to the office and she dismantled her home office and she was like thrilled. She was so excited. She says, I never get out of my pajamas. I never go anywhere. I order my groceries. I don't ever see anybody. And she was actually really excited to get back to the office because she just felt like she was just in this slump of being like trapped in her house all the time because she wasn't forced to leave for anything. And so she was really excited. I bet a lot of people are really excited. The homeschooling families I know, I feel like they are so not worried about socialization. They're actually more worried about education because there are so many socialization opportunities that they're
Yeah.
like, okay, no, we have to stay home today. No, you can't have anybody over. You're not going anywhere. We need to do our work. And it's almost
Mhm.
the other end for the people in it. Have you ever been in an industry or like a hobby and people ask you a question that's so outdated for whatever your hobby or interest is that you know that they're not up to date on the topic?
oh yeah,
sure.
of course, yeah.
So there's like these just what people have heard. And so for homeschoolers, if people ask you about socialization, that's the cue that they're not hanging out with homeschoolers because
Well, yeah,
I
no, they're
feel
not.
yeah, like homeschoolers are gone a ton. There's so many different I guess hybrid kinds of homeschooling. We did one where you have a co-op, and so we had 3 campuses. We were at 3 campuses 3 days a week, taking classes, and then home 2 days a week. There's some co-ops where you go in Monday all day long, and then you do the work for the rest of the week, and then you meet back every Monday. I mean, there's online homeschooling, which is a lot of people don't think it's homeschooling. It's sort of like a public school curriculum called K-12 and you're at home doing it, but somebody else
Right.
has chosen all the work and you have to stick to the same school year and stuff.
Well,
So
that's
there's like
still
Right.
a million
homeschooling
ways
with
to do it.
curriculum.
Well,
We
the
were
Department of Education is they're threatening to dismantle that. The new administration is threatening to dismantle that. And
What, K through 12?
no, the Department of
Homeschooling?
The
Oh,
Department of
okay.
Education.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah, I
essential.
tried not to pay attention to
That's
that.
essential for homeschooling because they have to be credentialed against, with the Department of Education, right? I
no,
mean,
you could just stay off the grid.
just
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I think it's a fabulous idea to dismantle it because they've had like what 40 or 50 years and scores are lower. And I don't think it's reached the goals of educating Americans. I mean, on the
I don't think
global
it's
scale,
educating. I think it's teaching the test. I mean,
I
you know.
I don't think the Department of I think one of the reasons homeschooling is growing aside from the COVID numbers is because the Department of Education is failing educating American children. I think it's probably best as if there was any kind of overarching thing, it should be like either regional or states, because I was in the Air Force and the bigger an organization is, the less it can change and the less it can react and the longer it takes everything to happen. And so I think it's just too big and unwieldy and there's too much. They've had like 40 some years to improve scores and educate, and we're going backwards.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
And then there's things like if I had known that homeschooling existed, I would have begged. I would have begged my mother because it was horrible. I
School
was
was?
that kid that all the other kids made fun of. Even the kids that everybody else made fun of tortured me.
I think
was
homeschooling
that
has
one
definitely
kid
saved
that
lives.
everyone hated.
It saves lives. I mean, I
Yeah.
can't tell you
Yeah.
when I'm the moderator on a homeschooling group, a local homeschooling group that's just online, and I'm on the leadership team for my in-person homeschool group for like 17 years now. And when a woman comes to me and says, we have decided we cannot take it any longer, or my child cannot take it any longer, and we have to pull them out, and I don't know how this is going to work, and I don't know anything about it, but I have to do it because we can't live like this anymore. The first words out of my mouth is like, you are so brave and you're doing the right thing, because I mean, kids are terrible to each other. And some of those kids are suffering, and there is nothing wrong with these children. They're just not. One thing that's amazing about homeschooling is your kid can be himself. You know, a lot of us, you try to fit in, you go to school, you choose your clique that you line up with, and you try to fit in, and then you get out of school and you're like, oh, there's a whole world, and I'm allowed to have hobbies that aren't cool, and I'm allowed to do whatever I want as a human. And then you become this person. You allow your actual interests to grow and thrive. And so if a homeschooler is ever called weird, what it really is that kid is living a lifestyle where they're allowed to be different. They're allowed to be interested in what they're interested in, and they're not trying to match whatever is assigned cool that year.
And I'm thinking, like, if the kid, once they hit high school age, if they want to go, because everybody's new as a freshman in high school, so they can build new relationships.
Yeah, it's like a clean slate.
Right,
Sometimes.
but before freshman year,
Wild West. Huh?
yeah, they're horrible.
Well, Aaron,
I mean, in high school they were kinder.
yeah.
Even if they didn't talk to me, they were
Well,
kinder.
they're turning into adults, but
Right.
Sure. Yeah,
Aaron,
developing a little empathy.
All the worst ones failed out and dropped out by then too.
right. Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I had a girl that
Eighth grade, you
was
lose
horrible.
8th grade, you lose a lot of the bullies. Or
Yeah.
going in, I feel like.
And I'd say this girl in 8th grade, she was absolutely horrible to me. Horrible. And we met again after, like, we were both juniors in high school. And she was like, I am so sorry.
Wow.
So I know. And usually they don't start the apology train until, like, adulthood.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
But Aaron, you mentioned just I don't want to touch on this too much more, but like the Department of Education, let's say that yes, it's disbanded, and you're saying go off the grid. So how would a child,
how would you go off
if you
the
don't
grid
have
with
the
your kid?
diploma? I mean, do you get
My
not get a
kids-
diploma
my
at the end of it, or
You just get a GED. My youngest is 23, and of the 3 boys, they've had between them 1/2 day of kindergarten. That was Liam. And Haley, the older daughter, we pulled out in, I guess it was 10th grade. She'd been sick on Wednesday and Thursday, and she was ready to go back to school on Friday. And my wife had this feeling that, not today, she can't go back. And that day there was a drive-by shooting at the bus stop where we usually pick her up. So she took she took that as a sign that homeschooling was the right thing to do, because she'd been meditating on that anyway. And we were already.
Had you already been homeschooling your boys at that time?
We were already homeschooling the boys, but she was already in high school.
Sure. So, but you added her in, yeah.
Yeah. And then she was,
Was she okay with it? I mean, did she get upset?
Not at all.
No. Because she could still contact her friends.
Yeah, she knew where all her friends were.
And the rest of it is, who cares?
I mean, would you have been upset if you suddenly were homeschooled?
Who, me? Oh, God, no.
Oh, I would have been.
I'd have been so happy.
I'd have been ecstatic. I'd have loved
Yeah.
it. But then when I look back on life, I feel like I would have missed out on some things, including
Like Aaron.
I may never have met you, Aaron.
Yeah.
You never know. But anyway,
well, we have football team, and we have cheerleaders, and we have prom, and we have homecoming, and we have drama. So I feel like those are frequently what people miss or what they want their kids to have. And we have all those things now.
Well, now
you have no annoying people chasing you down because your kid missed too many days. Half the time the reason, Okay. Half the time the reason why they're out is not because they feel bad and they couldn't do it. It's because maybe they're running a fever, that kind of thing. And they can't go to school if they have a fever, and then you get penalized because they had a fever.
Yeah.
And
you're missing work days yourself.
Right. Everything. You're missing work.
I always found that competition, the high school football team, I felt like people that really didn't have much to do with academics and learning and were unjustly celebrated sometimes,
for sure.
In a school environment.
Well, at your school, not mine.
They could be separated somehow, like if it was, part of a city program rather than a school program or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, at our high school, the coach decided to humiliate his players because they were playing so badly. He scheduled a game with them against the girls' basketball team.
Oh.
They lost.
Well, I mean, that's a victory for the girls, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they weren't that upset about it. I heard one guy saying, "Yeah, but not by much."
Well, that's all you need in sports, though. You just need one. Yeah.
Well, thanks.
The other thing about going off grid is I was just researching homeschool statistics, and the number of growing students, the way they count it is how many are leaving public school. So if you start, like my 5 children have never been enrolled in any school anywhere aside from homeschool co-ops. So my 5 children are completely off the radar of the education system. And in that sense, they're off grid. They haven't ever been in, so they can't count them as leaving the system.
Yeah, same with the 3 boys.
Yeah, but you don't have to have a GED to, you can just have them take the test, but you can also just, issue a, legit looking transcript based diploma as well. So.
Okay. Sure. Well, thanks for both of you for talking about that, because I was curious about certain aspects of that. And when I read that in your bio, Jane, I thought it might be something you want to talk, be willing to talk about.
Best thing about homeschooling is the lack of peer pressure and
torture
and influence. No, remember when everybody was into Britney Spears? My sons could have cared less, and they're into their own things.
Yeah, like Pokemon Go, we missed that completely.
Yeah.
Different trends.
Me too.
Yeah. It's just they can. Another thing I love about homeschooling actually is, for instance, this weekend my 12-year-old is going with our neighbor who homeschools. His neighbors it's a whole family, but the one he's friends with is 14, and they're in a Dungeons and Dragons campaign with a set of siblings who are 17 and 18, and they're going to the 18-year-old's birthday party. All these different ages. I think my son is probably one of the younger ones, and the 6-year-olds are hanging out with the 8-year-olds. The 8-year-olds are hanging out with the 12-year-olds. They choose each other based on like rough height. They're like, "You're my height. Do you want to play?" And there's none of this segregation, like, "Oh, I don't play with baby third graders. I'm in fourth grade." And a lot of them have siblings, and so they are used to somebody being either faster or slower than them because they have to help their little sibling or wait for their little sibling, or they see their little sibling learning and they know they're behind their older sibling and that one day they'll be big like their bigger sibling. And so there's just none of this age segregation. And so I love that an 18-year-old's birthday party is wholesome and fun, and that my son can be friends with people in like 3 or 4 different ages, and it's totally legit, and everybody's patient with each other. I think it's probably my favorite part about homeschooling.
Yeah, learning to be good to your siblings can translates into the world.
Yeah, because everybody's different than you in the world. You don't work with just 45-year-olds or just 55-year-olds. You're working with millennials, you're working with people that are retired. You got to be able to work with all the different kinds of people.
Yeah, when I was 19, I started working in an office, and I was doing the job, and one of my coworkers, they brought us into the office because she had a 19-year-old daughter. And so she was equating me with her child, a child, you know?
Yeah.
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 And they brought us in the office because the manager noticed there was some kind of a dynamic going on between us. And I said, sometimes it feels like she thinks I'm a child.
Oh, yeah.
And she
Okay.
said, well, I do have a 19-year-old daughter.
So you picked up on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of obvious. I mean, we didn't go to the manager. The manager came to us because she noticed something.
Oh, yeah. Then it was obvious.
He wasn't in the same office with us.
Uh-huh.
She just noticed it kind of in passing. And she did correct her behavior, and we were able to work together from then on.
Yeah, that's good.
In fact, her younger sister is my manager right now.
Ha.
Amazing, wonderful manager. Cannot say good enough things about her.
That's awesome.
All right, so I'm trying to fix this.
Fix what?
Fix the bracket. I got it all messed up.
The Elite Eight.
And I had I contributed 5 names instead of 4 also.
Yeah, I added
that's
yours.
okay.
I added yours and took out Judy Bloom.
Okay.
Oh, well, yeah, technically she's more of a tween author than a child author.
Yeah.
Like children's books. I mean, they are children, but not this age range.
Yeah.
Swapped
Not
out
illustrated.
Bloom for Richard Scarry.
Yeah.
Yep. So what do you want to say about the book that we haven't discussed for 40 minutes?
Oh, I feel like we talked about Winston really thoroughly. We talked about the art.
Good.
We talked about whether a cat would be helpful. I mean, I feel like we covered Winston really well.
Yeah.
Didn't he have a space suit or something at one point?
Have a what?
Did he have like a space helmet?
He never had a space helmet. No, it's just a robot suit. Yeah. Yeah. The only other thing we didn't cover is that Winston has a coloring book. And so you can create your own paper mech suit. It's got all the illustrations from the book in black and white, so you can color it however you like. And then it's got cat like activity pages at the end. And so that's a fun little addition.
We're going to be buying that.
Sweet.
I actually have 2 sets of crayons.
Oh, nice. Yeah. What's the difference between the 2 of them?
One's a 64 and the other one with the thing. And the other one doesn't have the sharpener. Yeah.
The homeschoolers, you can buy a crayon sharpener by itself, like pencil sharpener, but it's a crayon sharpener. It holds all the shavings. And it gives you that sweet little square neck before you get to the point.
I saw an ad the other day for a pencil sharpener that's a lizard, and when you turn the turn the
It turns
shave
into like a
frill. Yeah.
like a frill. Yes, I screenshot that and sent that to my daughter. That was so sweet. Yeah. That's
No,
awesome.
it's Star Wars.
What's
One of the
Star Wars?
boxes is
What's Star
they're
Wars?
both Crayola, but one is Star Wars
Is
branded
it a different
Crayola.
color selection?
The colors are the same, they're just different names.
They're out of this galaxy.
Yeah. Yeah, like Galaxy Gray, you know.
Right. Yeah.
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 Well, the name of the
I
book
got a box of
was
just all the whole spectrum of flesh tones. And then I got the 64 pack with the pencil, but then I think it was like 128 in a tin, in a
I
collective
had that
tin.
when I was younger, but not
Yeah.
the tin. It was
Yeah, I
just
still have the
the
tin.
cardboard box.
Yeah. Yeah.
my dad used to tell a sob story about all he wanted for Christmas. He didn't ask for much. All he wanted was a box of the 12 Crayola crayons that would, he could work with so beautifully. It went on, real vibrant and nice. And all he got this kit that his parents got. He had like 120 colors, and they were all chalky and real,
It wasn't
like
Crayola.
hard,
They were rose
brittle.
art. Rose art is the worst.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, rose art
Merit
is just whack.
crayons. Mm-mm.
Yeah, he broke that story. He had a few that he'd break out every once in a while. That's one he'd break
Yeah.
out quite
You
often.
can use them to make candles, I bet.
Yeah, they're just wax at that point.
Yeah.
I have my sister-in-law says crowns, and I was told very sternly it's crayon my whole life.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's why
Yeah, it's crayons.
Yeah.
She's not pronouncing it correctly.
No, she
People
has
do
a couple of
people do
words.
say crowns. I've heard it, but
crowns.
Yeah.
Isn't that maybe crayons with a
That's kind of a southern
cage,
accent.
like a
type
Cajun
of thing.
draw or something?
Yeah.
Crayons.
could be.
Yeah,
I
where's she
think so.
from?
She's from Louisiana.
There you are.
Yeah.
That's why.
Have it.
It's forgivable then.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's like my sister-in-law, New York.
Yep.
She's from Long Island, New York, Lake Ronkonkoma.
Yeah, that's where all my dad's family's from.
Yeah. I literally
Staten
can't
Island.
say it without doing the accent. It's just
Yeah.
not a thing.
It's just the way they talk. Yeah.
Right, right.
Well, we should say we're
And
talking
that's
to
okay.
Jane Sharpe about her book, Winston the Cat with the Mech Suit. And while we wait for Aaron to get back so we can do our Elite Eight real quick, I should mention I did see you had a couple other books.
Yep.
Let me see if I got this gun safety activity book for kids.
Yep.
Okay,
I like that.
that's important stuff.
I think it's more important to teach children gun safety than to just hide the guns.
Was that illustrated
because
and kind of
Your
presented?
worst nightmare is they find it and start messing with it, and
Right.
something happens. Yeah.
Now,
Teach them the what is it? The kind. Somebody once said kind fear.
It's like a respect. It's a healthy respect for
respect.
the weight of the responsibility, for sure. Yeah.
well, that goes for
Yeah.
adults as well, obviously.
Yeah.
Do you want to be on the news?
Nope.
And then
You don't want to be the one on the floor on the news, and you don't want to be the one standing over the one on the floor on the news.
Yeah, and you also don't want to be the one who shot themselves in the foot and has to call EMS. You don't want to be that guy either.
right.
No comment.
Don't want a gun going off in your waistband.
Nope. 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 You don't want to be pulling it out of the back
You
of
don't
your
want to be
jeans.
Barney Fife.
No.
Also,
Mhm.
Ezra the cat who babysat.
Yes, that's coming up this fall, hopefully. I am so excited about Ezra. I love
You need
Winston,
to
but
come back
Ezra's
and
going
talk
to be
about it.
100 times better. Yeah, I'll let you know when it comes out. I'm very excited. Nita is going to do the illustrations on that one also.
Oh, good.
And that's one of the things that I know that if the illustrations weren't, when I was a child, if the illustrations weren't right in the next book, I was disappointed.
Oh, sure. It's like a movie. They cast the same character with a different actor. You're like, who is this person? I'm not attached to this person.
Right, right.
All right. So,
Mhm.
Jane,
My James
I think
Bond.
you were. What were we saying, Aaron?
That's not my James Bond.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not
I
my
think Jane said,
Roger Moore. Roger Moore. Roger Moore.
well, we could, instead of Ginger and Marianne, this could be Roger Moore or
Sean
Sean
Connery.
Connery. Yeah.
You picked the wrong
Yeah.
James Bond. That's all I can say.
I know.
But I think you said that you'd be open to doing the Elite Eight mini bracket.
Yeah, I love children's books are like I love children's books.
Mm-hmm.
Now I tried to pick some authors that I knew, and then Aaron picked some authors that he knew, and we'll just throw them out there, and we'll all I'll moderate, and I'll let Jane, Aaron, and you, Lisa, play the game.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Sometimes I moderate,
and
we give it back and forth.
rather than do our
We're gonna have to let you do it
complicated
one day,
rundown
Aaron.
with
Mhm.
we'll just say that this is a game of Ginger versus Marianne or Roger Moore versus Sean Connery, involving 8 participants here. Okay.
Generally, it takes longer for him to explain it than to play the game.
Yeah.
For sure. It's something like that sometimes,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. We got Dr. Seuss, Cat in a Hat versus Shel Silverstein. Jane?
Absolutely Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aaron?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Seuss.
Okay. He's a heavy hitter. I get it.
John Bonham, I think he died on my birthday.
John Bonham did?
John Bonham definitely did. Dr. Seuss either died on my birthday or a day off. I can't remember.
I remember that day. Yeah.
I do too. Lise? Well, it doesn't matter. It's already
Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss. It's a sweep. So,
Mhm.
so our second round will be Lewis Carroll, Alice in Wonderland versus Dav Pilkey.
What's
the
the
second
one?
one?
Right.
Dave Pilkey. He's Captain Underpants author.
Oh, Captain
Captain
Underpants.
Underpants.
My grandson's favorite.
Mm-hmm. Captain Underpants. My niece is obsessed with those. They weren't even sure she could read, and then she just went through every Captain Underpants at her library in like a week.
That's why he's in the list.
And she reads to this day.
Yeah.
Who's he up against?
Lewis Carroll.
Lewis Carroll.
Huh?
I mean, I like Alice in Wonderland, but
it's not for little children, though.
No.
Oh, in homeschooling, that's for little kids. You read that to 6, 7, 8-year-olds. I absolutely vote Lewis Carroll because I have 14 different editions of Alice in Wonderland on my shelf.
Yeah.
So it's Alice.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our next.
Pilkey for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Aaron gives it one cursory vote there, or one.
No, I voted Pilkey too.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh.
Yep, both of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
I stand corrected. I'm sorry.
Dr. Seuss is going to be hard to take down.
Yeah.
All right. Richard Scarry versus Sandra Boynton.
I know Richard Scarry's books. I don't know Sandra Boynton.
That's really hard.
Little board books that are awesome.
They're like musical and they're wonderful. I have to go with Richard Scarry though. I literally bought a Richard Scarry yesterday. I'm absolutely Richard Scarry.
Okay.
Who's your favorite Richard Scarry character?
Oh, I mean, I think when I was little, it was Lowly Worm. And then my kids were little and we had an animated VHS and I really liked Huckle Cat.
Yeah.
But as an adult, I sort of like the gorilla now.
Gorilla, I was going to say, he's got that pride.
Yeah. So I don't know. I like a lot of them.
Bananas gorilla for me.
Yeah. The one that I have is the pig family eating bacon. Like.
Yeah.
Do they allow that on the shelves still?
Bacon?
I know, right?
I mean, pigs eat.
Richard Scarry. Oh, well, they can, I mean, he's magical. You can't take down.
Maybe it's tofu bacon. They're vegan pigs.
Maybe it's turkey bacon.
Aaron's vegan. Why not?
So I think Lisa revealed that she's going Scary.
For vegans, what do you do about protein is the what do you do about socialization question.
Right.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of the times it's just someone who doesn't know, and that's the most obvious question to have a conversation that isn't like, we're not going into, are you religious nuts?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different show. That's not our podcast.
No. We don't, we're not gotcha journalists.
No, we're not even.
Oh, good.
Well,
I'll relax now.
Yeah. All right. A. Milne versus Beatrix Potter.
Ooh.
And Winnie the Pooh for A. Milne.
Yeah, I think I would go with Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Jane. What'd you say?
Winnie the Pooh for me. Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh.
I gotta go Beatrix Potter, or I'll get kicked out of the house.
Okay.
Ooh.
So,
Yeah, do that then.
yeah, Winnie the Pooh. I'm sorry, but Winnie the Pooh.
Well, that would.
No, I'm not even sorry. I would have had a Winnie the Pooh nursery if we'd had kids.
It's a tough matchup, and we did have Winnie the Pooh.
That is a rough one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in our Winnie the Pooh nursery, there was a set of tiny little Beatrix Potter mini books.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I feel like they only come in two sizes, the massive compilation anthology and then the little bitty ones.
Tiny or one giant one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So we're down to the final four. It's getting real exciting. Dick Vitale's announcing this one. He's
Who we got?
we got Dr. Seuss versus Dave Pilkey. And Jane, I'll let you go.
No contest, Dr. Seuss.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Aaron blurted out Dr. Seuss almost simultaneously, and then Lisa. So that's a sweep.
Mm-hmm.
So Richard Scarry versus A. Milne.
I feel like they're two different genres. Like there's
I know they're
story
so
versus
different.
image. Yeah, it's like one is story and one is image. I feel if I look at my shelves, I got more Richard Scarry than I've got A. Milne.
Okay.
Yeah, he's more prolific.
Yeah, for sure. And I have at least 5 of hers, but I have to say, like, I'll look at Richard Scarry a lot longer.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, there's more imagery.
And you're looking for Goldbug and you're checking out to see what truck dumped out. Yeah, it's very exciting.
It's been a long time since I read Richard.
So that's scary for Jane.
Was Richard Scarry around when we were kids?
He was definitely around in the 70s and 80s.
Okay. Yeah, because we're 80s babies.
Oh,
I'm 79.
we're all born.
Well, no, 60s. You know what? 60s.
Yeah.
Because I was born in 66 and they were born in, I assume, 68, Aaron?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're older, much older than Jane, I'm sure.
Once again, I'm the oldest person on the podcast.
So I think Jane's got scary. Aaron, are you scary as well?
Yeah, I'm one.
Okay.
Okay.
So
I'm going to go Pooh. Because that's where my heart is.
All
But
right.
I think I didn't start experiencing scary books until I was babysitting.
Oh.
I can't let I'm gonna go Pooh drop like that.
Can't let it drop.
I'll be right back.
All right. But yeah, very nice. All right.
Good job, Aaron.
So we're at the final.
Goose versus Scary.
Yep.
That's rough.
Go against Dr. Seuss.
I mean, he's got those lyrics.
Yeah. You could put almost every single one of his books to music.
And he's probably more prolific than Richard Scarry.
Yeah, he's got a lot of classic characters. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Richard Scarry still, though.
Oh,
good.
Nice.
Leaves it up to Lisa.
I'm going to have to go Seuss. It was actually there when I was a child.
Yeah. First books I ever read.
Yeah. I still have my green eggs and ham.
Yeah.
Hop on Pop.
Yeah.
Before you know it, it's Marvin K. Rooney, Will You Please Go Now? And 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins.
Horton Hears a Who was the first VHS we ever owned in my house.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. No,
Cool.
I'm okay. That's a really hard one.
I think I was 19 when I got VHS.
Fabulous. Yeah.
Well, that was fun. That was a fun
Yeah.
one. We didn't have
Yeah.
any screw ups either. Like
Good
usually
discussion.
we have some kind of goof up in it that
Uh-huh.
really throws all the results off of
Yeah.
kilter. But
So
y'all
it's
did a very good
Seuss
job.
by over Scary. That's a good matchup.
Yeah. That's a good final lineup.
Yeah, it's
I'm
almost
glad
a
you
tie,
didn't-
but
The what? Oh, a tie. Yeah.
it could have been.
Nah. It couldn't because 3, it's an odd number.
Right.
That's why.
Okay, green eggs and
By
ham.
design, it couldn't be a tie. But
Yeah.
there was a
There you go.
heated competition, went all the way down to the wire.
I mean, I was, I think, an adult when the animated version of Cat in the Hat came out, and I was still excited
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Jim Carrey thing wasn't so good.
to
though.
see what they do with it. You mean the Grinch?
9, I think.
He
Oh
was
yeah,
the
the Grinch.
Yeah,
He
Yeah.
won the Cat in the Hat.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah, the Grinch, when I was in school, the principal would come in and read the Grinch Who Stole Christmas to the kindergartners. And that's one of my first early book memories was him coming in and reading the Grinch Who Stole Christmas to
That's
us.
cool.
Which is cool because that's such a difference from the night before Christmas.
Oh yeah, the vibe totally. My
Yeah.
mother, my whole life, called it roast beast.
Yeah, we call it roast beast.
I do
Yeah.
that. I
The house.
still do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, our principal was the Grinch, it seemed like. Mr. Grinch. But
Yeah, our principal was like Mr. Rogers. Like I don't know how he got into a position of authority.
oh, that'd been amazing to have Mr.
Yeah.
Rogers as your principal
Yeah,
teacher.
yeah.
That would have been cool. Except
Yeah.
I don't know if he could have handled the Huff boys. They were outlaws.
The only principal that I really remember is the one that whenever anything would happen with my brother or I, and he knew my mother was coming, he'd be like this.
Oh,
Yeah. And after our second year at that particular elementary school, we moved a lot. So, but we stayed there for a second year, and he retired.
wow.
And we moved that summer, but he didn't
Uh-huh.
know we were moving, and he was not staying to see my mother for another year.
Wow. Wow.
had him scared to
He
death.
told her that. He said, I'm going to retire, so when you come next year, I won't be here.
I won't be here, so don't, yeah.
That's
Well,
hilarious.
that's some power.
Sounds like that would happen to Beverly Goldberg.
Oh, my mom.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. You did not mess with us.
All right, Jane,
Yeah.
it's been a lot of fun. We should mention your name of your book again. That's Winston the Cat with a Mech Suit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
we'd love
By
to have you.
Jane Sharpe with an E, Sharpe.
Right.
Yep. And then
I
the coloring book
found the
is
wrong
called,
Jane Sharpe.
oh, yeah, there's a couple of different Jane Sharpes.
Yeah.
The my website, Jane Sharpe, you have to say with an E at the end, janesharpe.com, and Winston's coloring book, very fun. So
Awesome.
thanks
We're
for having
definitely
me. I
gonna have to
really
get
had a
that.
lot of fun. That Elite Eight is that was pretty cool.
Oh, glad you liked it.
And versatile because you can do it to any topic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better than like we used to ask the question, how many bathrooms are there on the Death Star?
And then we were out of ideas. We couldn't come up with anything clever enough to follow that up with.
Yeah,
I still-
Yes, like,
I
and a
would
lot
know.
of people like you are like, what?
Yeah, I don't get it.
And it was supposed to
There's no
foment
right.
conversation if possible, and otherwise that exact reaction. What's the most
Yeah, if you're
popular
not
answer, Aaron?
Pretty What's that?
What was the most popular answer?
I don't know the most popular answer. It's probably 3 or 5 or something. I don't know. But I
I think it
always
was
say
one.
might have been.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just nerd adjacent. This one part of me thinks, isn't the Death Star like humongous? It should have 100 bathrooms. This other part of me is like, do those guys in the white outfits even have to go to the bathroom? Are they robots?
Exactly.
Like, I don't even get the joke. So I'm only nerd adjacent because of my 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay.
Most people
It's-
feel like some kind of technological.
Elite Eight works much better.
Yeah.
Mhm. I'm solidly in the nerd category when it comes to Star Wars and Star Trek, but I
Yeah.
am more of a Trekkie than or a Trekker than than Star Wars.
Yeah, my husband exclusively enjoys like science fiction and then
Mhm.
reads it and watches it. And my favorite small joy as a wife is intentional. The only thing I know is the things that I can mix up verbally to frustrate him and make him like think, I'm like, is Gandalf the one is he the guy in Harry Potter? And, confusing the characters. That's like, I know the characters so I can mix them up in questions. So
You
he's like,
gaslighting.
I do that with football.
yeah. Make a
I'm
point,
like,
go
how
team.
many innings are left?
Yeah. Yes. We just know enough to make trouble.
Yeah.
3 minutes in the quarter? Oh, so there's another hour and a half of football?
That I know that one. Yeah, that's a good one.
And but this is the truth, the absolute truth. When I was 7, I asked my dad, when's the game going to be over? And he said, well, it'll be another 3 hours because they have to change uniforms at halftime.
I know you're supposed
Fell
to
for
say,
that.
is it real football? Is it real minutes or football minutes?
Right.
Yeah.
When people tell you how long are they going to be? Yeah.
Not the same thing.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
7 or 8 years
Yeah.
since football now.
Right. Aaron gave up football. He's unburdened by the game now.
Oh man,
Yeah.
got
It's a
Sunday,
free life.
I admire that.
Thursday nights,
Yeah.
all free.
Monday nights,
I
Saturday
couldn't give
nights
up,
during the playoff season.
but I gave up on football as a whole.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've gained so much time in your life now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, now baseball.
Ah,
Aaron,
you
Yeah,
just switched devices.
Philip and Aaron are in the NRBL, the Norwood Rotisserie Baseball League. It is one of the oldest existing rotisserie baseball leagues in the country. And especially
Started 84 or 85.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and almost, I think, only like 3 of your members have cycled out?
probably a few
Wow.
more.
Probably more than that over the years.
Yeah, I mean, but the core, there's probably 5 or 6 that have been.
Yeah, there's a core that's, yeah.
There's
Yeah.
people before you were there, Mike Cox and Steve Kurtz.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I remember
Yeah,
Mike Cox because there's a lot of Cox in my family.
Okay.
C-O-X Cox.
Yeah.
C-O-X.
You got to
Yeah.
be careful the way you say that.
No, I say it that way on purpose.
His team's name was Cox Hung Low, actually.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's what.
On that note.
He's no longer in it.
Yeah, Philip was Phil Billy.
No, he's Phil's Harmonic Orchestra.
Yeah, now that's what it is now.
That's what it was to start. He might have switched for a few years, but he switched
okay.
I
back.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You switched out and then you went back again? Okay.
I did. I had a few names, but I didn't
There's
change the
nothing
name
wrong
of my
with
team
that.
the way that Aaron's changed his quite often, and Bill
Change-
changes his all the
pretty much.
time. But
Mm-hmm.
I've changed mine
Why
about 3
not?
times. Why not? I like continuity.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I'm okay with,
Yeah, that's just my personality.
you are a valid person. I validate you.
Thank
You're welcome.
We got to let Jane get off this thing.
you. Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy thing.
all right.
Thanks for
It's
hanging
great to
out
be
with
here.
us. Please come back
Yeah.
again when Ezra comes out.
Absolutely, I will.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
We have social.
Twitter,
Yeah, pod.
Instagram,
Yeah, pod.
Facebook,
Yeah, pod.
website.
So let us know. Hit us back. Have a great week.